Hi everyone. You may have seen a viral video claiming that when world leaders walked out during Prime Minister Netanyahu's UN speech, it was the fulfillment of biblical prophecy, specifically from Zechariah 12. The video even calls it a surgical specific prophecy, proving the prophetic clock is at midnight. Now, before we get swept up in fear or excitement, let's slow down and take a sincere look at what actually happened and what the Bible really says. Yes, some delegates did leave the hall during Netanyahu's speech. That's not unusual. It's a form of political protest that happens to many leaders at the UN. Some reports said 77 delegates walked out, but if you look at UN photos, many seats were still filled. So the claim itself is already exaggerated. So the real event is simply a political protest. The claim is this is a 2,500-year-old prophecy being fulfilled in our time. Let's test that. Zechariah chapter 12 talks about Jerusalem being a cup of trembling and a burdensome stone for the nations. Powerful imagery. But remember, Zechariah was written to the people of Judah after their exile in the 6th or 5th century BCE. The images are apocalyptic poetry meant to show God's protection of his people and his judgment of hostile nations. It is not about the United Nations. It doesn't mention walkouts, speeches, or treaties. To connect this verse directly to Netanyahu's speech is to rip it out of its context and drop it onto today's headlines. That's not how responsible Bible interpretation works. This isn't new. For decades, prophecy teachers have tied Bible verses to the headlines. In the 1970s, the UN's vote on Zionism was said to be Zechariah's fulfillment. In the 1990s, the Oslo Accords were labeled the covenant with death. In the 2000s, the EU was the revived Roman Empire. Each time, the prophetic clock was said to be at midnight. Each time, the events passed without producing the apocalyptic outcomes people were promised. This shows a pattern: sensational predictions, but no fulfillment. The video also quotes Daniel 9:27, claiming that a covenant with Israel is about to be confirmed. But biblical scholars debate that verse heavily. Some see it fulfilled in the 2nd century BCE with Antiochus. Some see it as messianic, others as symbolic of God's covenant. It never mentions the UN. It never mentions Netanyahu. To force today's politics into the verse is speculation, not scripture. Notice how these videos are framed. They use urgent phrases like midnight clock, prophetic triggers, and terrify every believer. They push a binary choice. Are you on God's side or the nation's side? This kind of rhetoric stirs fear and urgency, and very often it's tied to selling books, conferences, or donations. That's why we need discernment. Not every prophecy channel is malicious, but fear is powerful marketing. So, what's a healthier way to read prophecy? First, remember Jesus' own words. See that you are not alarmed. Matthew 24:6. Prophecy is meant to give hope and perseverance, not panic. Our calling as Christians is to live faithfully, pray for peace, and be ready spiritually at all times, not to decode every headline as the end of the world. Yes, world events can remind us of biblical themes, but not every headline is a fulfillment of prophecy. Sometimes a political walkout is just a political walkout. So if you see another video shouting that this is it, pause. Read the passage in context. Ask what it meant to its original audience. Compare with reputable scholarship. Faith is strengthened by truth, not by fear. And the truth is, prophecy points us to God's sovereignty and hope, not to endless speculation about the UN. Thanks for listening, and I hope this helped you see through some of the noise. Stay watchful, stay hopeful, and stay grounded in the Word.